So I'm going to do a little review here of the Big Dot sight. It's by a company called XS Sight Systems. XS, and they are apparently in Fort Worth, Texas. And I've had this thing sitting around for a long time, but I'm just getting around to installing it. I got the one for the Walther 99 and the PPQ, and I've got the PPQ here, so that's what this is going to go on. And this one is the Big Dot Express set, and the Big Dot is in reference to the basic idea behind the sight, which is just the vertical rear bar, and you place the Big Dot on top of that. I've never used it before, so it'll be interesting to see how it works. And this particular one is the 24/7, which I assume is in reference to the fact that it's tritium. So just like with regular sights, you could just get the white and the white for the rear and the front, or you could make it tritium, and this one's tritium. I think it's important to have tritium sights because it really does increase your accuracy in low light. So, as you can see, there's quite a few things that come with this set, so let's pop it open and see what it all is. Instruction booklet, and it is a crazy huge instruction booklet. I'll look at that later. And a little pile of stuff. I don't know if this is like a Loctite or something. I'm assuming it is. I don't know what this is. Let's see. Actually, looks like a wrench here, just for screwing a hex nut or something. Not sure what that is. This is plastic. You can't tell. So this is a drift, I assume. And then the two sights. So really is quite an impressive kit. Comes with all kinds of stuff. So there's the, if it'll focus here, that's the rear vertical bar. There you go. And there's the Big Dot. So you'll line these up just like that when you're aiming. Line them up, and I assume you'll just cover the target with that dot. Put that dot right over the bullseye. So interesting concept. Definitely not a real fine set of sights, so it's very coarse, so it should be really quick to line up. It's not target sights. You may not be able to have ultra precision, but for a defensive gun, it should give you a nice quick alignment. That's the idea anyway. So, a whole bunch of stuff here. Let's take a look at the plans, or the instructions. So it's quite a complete set of instructions here. Like I said, the box, actually, I guess it's not really the box, but it's this sticker. It said use instruction numbers 1, 3, and 9. So what do we have here? We got the exterior of the box, sight alignment, or sight picture. You can see there how it tells you to line them up. So the point of impact at close range, put the dot right on top of the target, and put the point where you want impact, place it on top of the Big Dot for 25 yards and out. And then you've got warranty card, limited lifetime warranty, some safety stuff here, adjusting for windage and elevation, XS ghost ring hunting sights. So obviously all of this doesn't apply just to this sight. Maybe this is the same piece of paper they include with all of their sight installations, or all their sights. So let's see, what was that? 1, 3, and 9. So let's look at 1, 3, and 9. Let's see. This entire side is instructions mostly. Well, there's make sure it's unloaded, their address. Everything else on this entire sheet is just instructions. So let's see. I think I must have missed number 1 over here. I don't even see number. Oh, there's number 1. Okay, number 1. So forget that. So 3 and 9 is all it's telling me. Screw on front sights, strip the pistol, remove the front sight. Apply the red thread locker. Yep, so that red stuff is just a version of Loctite. Same idea as Loctite. Install the sight. Using the supplied tool, install and tighten the screw. So that's the little aluminum thing with the hex cut out. Surlock is what they call their Loctite, I guess. So remove the excess, let it dry for an hour, reassemble it. And then 9 is my other step. So that's easy for the front. Rear sight, Walther 99 and PPQ, I'm assuming will be the same. Depress the plunger that secures the rear sight, remove the rear sight, being sure to capture the spring and plunger, remove the adjustment screw from the factory rear sight, install that into the new sight, make sure the whole thing slides into the gun easily, minor fitting may be required, reinstall the plunger and spring assembly, depress the plunger, and slide in the express sight. That sounds like it. So yeah, these instructions, just they put the same sheet with all their guns, I guess. I'm guessing that's cheaper. So that's it. That's the overview of what comes with it and the very simple instructions. So let's install them. So this is where the front sight was on the PPQ slide. Just a slot, although the front of it is countersunk. I don't know if you can tell. It's countersunk below this part of the slide. So it's the top of the slide here is thinner, right where the slide, or right where the sight mounts. And this was tricky to figure out. If I put my magnifying hood on and looked at this closer before I tried to take it out, it would have been clear. You can see there's this piece of plastic here that ran from, let me get a little pointer here, from the front near to the back of the sight. From here all the way here, there were 2 of these thin plastic pieces with a little gap between them, and all of that would slide right down in the slot of the slide. And then this is an Allen head screw, so this would fit into the slide, and then they would take this Allen head screw, screw it in, and it would push these 2 pieces of plastic apart. And hold the sight in the slide that way. I thought that you had to have some special tool to insert here and here, because I could see the threads here, but I didn't see the Allen head. I thought you had to insert this special kind of screwdriver in here and turn this like this. So I made this little tool here. And I thought you stuck it in here and unscrewed it, and I thought that this threaded part was part of the sight. And then when I got it apart, basically, if you apply much pressure from the inside, basically it just pushes through. But then I got my magnifying hood after this fell out and looked at it and could see that it was a hex screw. So basically, you can probably just shove this out from the inside with a punch, or take an Allen head screw, unscrew the screw, and pull the sight out, and then you can reuse it if you want to keep this. It's just plastic. So I looked on YouTube and didn't see any videos on this, but anyway, I figured it out myself, and I don't care about the sight, so I'll just chuck it. But that's how it works. Either just punch it out, or with an Allen wrench undo the screw, and then it should just pull right out. The one that comes in the kit has basically a miniature bolt, and this tool comes with the kit. So just unscrew that little bolt with this tool, and then they tell you to put a drop of their Loctite on here. and screw it together. So let's do that. So the instructions say to apply the Loctite. By the way, this is sealed in there, so you gotta cut the tip of it off. It says apply the Loctite to all mating surfaces, so put it on there. And that mates to the top of the slide. It's a little gooey, so that's good, it stays on. It says put it in place, and it says align it to the slide, but it's actually a pretty nice fit, pretty snug fit. And let's put a little bit on this screw. And so we used like 2 drops of this, and there's probably 50 drops in there, so let's see here. I'll get a little on my fingers, but I'm not sure you can avoid it. Have some paper towels handy, because they do tell you to wipe off the excess once you're done. And it seems like it threaded in there nicely. Try not to cross thread it. If it feels like there's resistance, maybe take another whack at it. And I just got it moderately finger tight. So I'll get the thread locker off of here. There's some excess in there, but I'm not going to worry about that. Wipe it off of there. Wipe it off that side. Even if you just left it there, you'd probably never see it. So that is super easy. By the way, make sure after you've mounted this, make sure you test it in your holster. Make sure it'll go in there easily, but more importantly, make sure you can unholster the gun quickly and smoothly without this snagging, because that's a pretty big fat sight. And it's definitely, let's see if I can line it up. Yeah, I'm trying to line it up so you can see. I think that's a pretty fair representation. You can see this is definitely taller than the stock sight. Alright, there's the front. Super easy once I figured out how the front sight could be removed. Now let's look at the rear. Alright, now to remove the rear sight, let's see if I can explain how this works. Right there is a plunger. It's a spring-loaded plunger, and it's got a groove in it. This screw is a square screw, and its rim fits into the groove of that plunger. So the sight is adjusted for windage based on this screw. So you can turn the screw either direction, and it'll move the sight left or right because of how it fits into this plunger. So to remove the sight, turns out it's pretty easy. This one was kind of gunked up, so it took a little effort. But if you have to push hard on it, just put it on a table and push down on it with a screwdriver or something, and it should pop loose. And let me see if I can show it to you. See that? When you push that down, you should just be able to move the sight off to the side. Now, you can see that plunger and the head of it, the groove there that the sight fits into. And that just slides out. So you could, if my camera will focus, turn that screw one way or the other, and that edge, the square edge of it, will just fit into that plunger. And that's where the sight will remain, left or right, based on where that screw fits into the plunger. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit. And the instructions say to remove this screw from this sight. You can see here's the new sight. And there's, I guess maybe the threaded end of the screw just needs room to come here if you need to adjust it. extremely. Lets the screw poke out there, I guess. So I'll just unscrew this screw from the old side, put it in the new side. And this appears to be plastic as well, just like the front side. So I'll do that, and then I'm guessing it'll just slide right in and pop in place very, very easily. You can see that it's a long screw, and it's pretty stiff at this point, and it's the slot doesn't go all the way through. You can see it doesn't come out the ends. It's not open on the ends. It's actually a curved slot, like this. So if you were to take if you have a screwdriver that you don't care about, you could grind a curve onto it. And you could grind a curve off that end and off this end so it fits this a little better. But a small screwdriver works okay. And then what I'll do at this point is probably just grab the pliers and... Oh, and by the way, this is a left-handed thread. So it's opposite the way you're used to turning things. So normally to screw this out, you'd screw to the left, but you screw this one to the right. So left-handed threads. So there's the original in the garbage can. I don't care about that. Or maybe I'll keep it. The front one's ruined, but I may hang on to the back one. And they had some Loctite, I could tell, on here. So I'll put some Loctite on it and get this screwed in here. And it might go a little easier since this is metal instead of plastic. Anyway, I'll clean this up and get it in there. Put some Loctite on it. Although, yeah, you probably don't even need Loctite. This one has Loctite on it, it looks like. But you probably don't even need it because it should lock into that plunger and not move any. Maybe the Loctite just keeps it from jiggling around. So at least initially I did not put any Loctite on here. I'll see how it works, see if I need to make any adjustments at the gun range. And maybe I'll put Loctite on it later. But honestly, because it's got that square screw that falls into the slot, I don't even think it's necessary. So this just slides right in real easily. And one of the tricks here is you can see that slot's not lined up parallel to the slide. So that's a little tricky. So try to get it lined up parallel to the slide. Then depress it with whatever. Slide the side over. And you may have to jiggle this back and forth initially. So I experimented with it before I recorded this right now, and I had to jiggle this back and forth to get the screw to fall into that slot. So you may need to fiddle with it and jiggle it back and forth a little bit. Once this is in here, you can actually adjust the rear sight just by turning that screw. Even though it's square, it just pushes the plunger down and out of the way. And go ahead and give it a little turn after you've installed it to make sure that the screw is square with the slide, that one of the sides is parallel to the slide. Otherwise it could pop loose. So just give it a little turn until the tension relaxes, then you know that you've got one of the square sides of the screw lying all the way into the slot of the plunger. And I turned this a couple turns to line that side up with the center of the slide as well as I could. And so I'll just have to go to the range and shoot it and see how it works. Let's see, can you see? That's a little bit bright. Yeah, that helps a little bit. I guess you can see that big dot down there, and there's this guy. And you can kind of see there the dot on top of that vertical bar. The depth of field is too shallow. But you get the idea about how those line up. So it's actually super easy to install these, and you know, I would say you don't need a single tool that you don't already have. Screwdriver back here. You could use a nail to pop this out. A nail is a punch. It comes with the tool to tighten that. Again, all you need is a screwdriver for this, so super easy install. Except it didn't tell how to get out that original front sight, so that was strange, but there you go. Installing XS big dot sights on your Walther PPQ.